Welcome back. Welcome to the show. Welcome back if you heard the first two episodes. This is 50 Years Dead, a show-by-show introspective look into the 1973 Grateful Dead tour. So, the concept of this is connecting philosophy, history, music history, and personal history with the Grateful Dead, using the lens of the 1973 tour, which is an interesting tour, an in-between tour, coming off of 72 in Europe, right before 74, where the Wall of Sound was. 73 is a growing year. It's a transition year, and it's something that I wanted to look at, analyze, see what kind of patterns arose each night. The whole point of this show is to dive into the conscious brain of the Grateful Dead, not as individuals of the band, as performers, not as audience members necessarily, but the music as a construct to what patterns and feelings are in the universe, and how the Grateful Dead found that collective consciousness through their music, whether consciously or not. Sometimes the music was just pouring through them, which is why we like them as a band, is because they found stuff in the music that they didn't think of, at least not at the time, nor do I think they could articulate it at the time. You have if you're listening to the show and you're a practical person, this is probably not the best show, because I'm gonna think about what it means to listen to this band on a different level. This specific episode, I'm actually not going to cover a show. I wanted to cue some things up for us to pay attention to as we continue listening to each show in the 73 tour. In my listening journey right now, up to November, in the show, where we're discussing each show and what happened in each show, we're in February. So I'm a little bit of ahead, but it's giving me a retrospective feel, and it's allowing me to analyze these set lists, these February set lists, and onwards a little bit, with a little bit of a different lens that I'm just hoping you can bear with me and open your mind to this expression, this feel that I get as a Grateful Dead fan, that I think you would probably get to, maybe not on a eye level with me, but maybe it gets you thinking about your own experience with this band. I started noticing patterns with each show, within each set list, and I think we should talk about that. There's a universe that the Grateful Dead is giving us in the first set of each show. It's like the MCU or Star Wars or some canon-based narrative that is going on here. And it goes on in the first set of each show, in one way or another, with the Honky Tonk songs. I was talking about them, in the first episode. But let's talk about it in a little bit more detail. Me and my uncle El Paso, and Mexicali blues. These are songs that live in the same narrative universe. These 3 songs all take place in the first set. They're not always in a specific order, but they're in a universe together. They're in a spiritual harmony with each other. And you'll notice all these 3 songs don't, for the most part, I have not seen them or noticed them in the second set. I think there's a reason for us. It's not just easy rockers like Jay Bennett once requested. And it could be in their eyes, but I think there's a narrative that we could follow in these songs. Let's start with El Paso, which is not a Grateful Dead original. It's by an artist named Marty Robbins. It's an old country song, an old ditty. Out in the West Texas town of El Paso. And I want you to take that in. The West Texas town of El Paso. I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Nighttime would find me in Rosa Catina. Music would play and Felina would whirl. Blacker than night were the eyes of Felina, wicked and evil while casting a spell. My love was deep for this Mexican maiden. I was in love, but in vain, I could tell. Man. Especially when you're drinking. And then probably in a Western saloon, you got some whiskeys in you. You see a girl. You ever do this? You see a girl and you just like, I used to do this before I met my wife. You look into a woman's eyes and you'd be like, you would just imagine an entire lifetime. You get struck by a lightning bolt, like in Godfather 2. Was that God? No, regular Godfather. Yeah, regular Godfather. Godfather 1. Strike you like a lightning bolt and your brain goes crazy, and that's what this person's going through. One night a wild young cowboy came in, wild as the West Texas wind, dashing and daring, a drink he was sharing with wicked Felina, the girl that I loved. So in anger I challenged his right for the love of this maiden. Down went his hand for the gun that he wore. My challenge was answered in less than a heartbeat. The handsome young stranger lay dead on the floor. Boom. This guy just laid this other fella out because he was wrapped up in this moment. Now, I guess he fell in love with the girl, and then but you don't really see the in between here, because one night a wild young cowboy came in. So he just had a crush on this girl. I don't think they had a relationship yet. Just for a moment, I stood there in silence, shocked by the foul, evil deed that I've done. Many thoughts raced through my mind as I stood there. I had but one chance, and that was to run. Out through the back door of roses, I ran. Out where the horses were tied, I caught a good one. It looked like it could run. Up on its back, and away I did ride, just as fast as I could, from the West Texas town of El Paso, out in the Badlands of New Mexico. So he escapes El Paso. He's down in New Mexico. He's thinking about El Paso. And when you're drunk and you're in love and you're thinking about what could be, your mind races. as what happens to this young fella. Back in El Paso, my life would be worthless. Everything's gone in life, nothing is left. It's been so long since I seen the young maiden. My love is stronger than my fear of death. Six-pack cowboy over here. I saddled up and away I did go, riding alone in the dark. Maybe tomorrow a bullet may find me. Tonight's nothing worse than this pain in my heart. Whew, that is a great lyric. And, you know, this is a Dylan-esque lyric, and you could tell it's something that the band really loves playing. Because they love lyrics. And then, you know, you listen to Fish and you're like, oh, that's a great band musically. And then you listen to their lyrics and like, oh, God, it's all right. God, I get it. You're in a bubble bath. Like, and you listen to some bubble bath song and then you listen to this song and you're like, okay, there's a clear difference here. And I know they're two different bands, but it's you know, and it's unfair to really judge them. But these lyrics are incredible. Okay, it goes on. He's on this hill overlooking El Paso. I could see Rose's cantina below. My love is strong and it pushes me onward. Down off the hill to Felina I go. Off to my right, I see 5 mounted cowboys. He's back in El Paso. 5 mounted cowboys. Remember that part. Off to my left's ride, a dozen or more. Shouting and shooting, I can't let them catch me. I made it to Rosa's back door. Something dreadfully long, I feel a burning pain in my side. Though I'm trying to stay in the saddle, I'm getting weary, unable to ride, but my love for Felina is strong, and I rise where I've fallen. Though I am weary, I can't stop to rest. I see a white puff of smoke from the rifle. I feel the bullet go deep in my chest. From out of nowhere, Felina has found me, kissing my cheek as she kneels by my side, cradled by 2 loving arms that I'll die for. One kiss and Felina, goodbye. What a story. And when Jerry plays this, or, you know, and he's playing lead on this, the finger picking is nuts. It drives this song. It follows the lyrics. The way Jerry plays with the song, it's a voice, it's a spiritual voice with the actual lyrics that Bobby is singing. And it is an incredible song. You think it's a throwaway, but I want to tell you this as you're listening to this tour. You have to really pay attention to this song.
Me and my uncle went right down South Colorado, West Texas bound. We stopped up at Kissimmee Bay, that being the point.
And that brings me to Me and My Uncle. This is a Grateful Dead song, and here is the sequel, I argue, to El Paso. And I think that's just why they play these songs together, not one after another, but in the same world, usually in the same set list. Me and my uncle went riding down to South Colorado, West Texas bound. We stopped over in Santa Fe that day on the pony, just about halfway. And you know, it was the hottest part of the day. And I took up the horses up to the stalls, went to the ballroom, ordered drinks for all. I like this guy already. I mean, he's busting in the saloon and he's buying drinks for everybody. Can you imagine just buying? I know it's like $1.25 and, like, you know, cowboy times. That's a lot of bread. for them. And he's like, hey, everybody, unless there wasn't a lot of people in there, but it'd be kind of awkward if he walked in there and like there was just one guy by the bar and he busted into the place and he's like, I'm buying drinks for everybody. And then the guy's like sort of hunched over and he like looks over. He's like, oh, that's cool. Thanks, bro. Okay. So 3 days in the saddle, my body hurt. It would being the summer, I took off my shirt. He's taking off his shirt in, the bar. I don't know if this guy's from New Jersey. I know he's from Colorado originally. There must be some sort of Jersey blood, eventually. I mean, he's probably not too far removed from New Jersey if it's cowboy times and he's sort of just like headed west and maybe his dad's from New Jersey. And I feel like a connection with this young fella. I tried to wash off some of that dusty dirt. West Texas Cowboys, they was all around. They was all around. They were all around. Like, I know you're a cowboy, but I mean, it's still English, right? You're an English cowboy. Wheat, liquor, and money, they loaded down. So he has wheat, liquor, and the liquor and money makes sense here. I don't know what the wheat is, unless they're like microbrews. I digress. So soon after payday, no, it seemed a shame. My uncle, he starts playing the game. Hey now, high, low, jack, and the winner take the hand. My uncle started winning. The Cowboys got sore. Remember, the West Texas Cowboys. One of them called him, and then two more. Accused them of cheating. Oh no, it couldn't be. I know my uncle, he's as honest as me. Hey now, I'm as honest as a Denver man could be. That's right. Denver man with clear Jersey roots. One of them Cowboys, West Texas Cowboys, mind you, he starts to draw, and I shot him down, Lord, he never saw. Shot me another, hot damn, he won't grow old. In the confusion, my uncle grabbed the gold. We hightailed it down to Mexico. Now, I love those Cowboys. I love their gold. Love my uncle, God rest his soul. Taught me good, Lord taught me all I know. Taught me so well that I grabbed that gold and left his dead body there. left his dead ass there by the side of the road. This guy is a stone cold killer. This guy, I mean, this is a cowboy song, man. When you hear the music of the Grateful Dead, and you know that the Hells Angels went to their shows a lot. It was behind the stage a lot. And you think, like, what are these hippies doing with the Hells Angels? Like, why is the Peace Love crowd with the Hells Angels crowd? Then listen to the lyrics in this song. This is why they're there. This is their anthem. This is a no good Hell's Angel who like literally killed his uncle, so he got some extra gold. I feel that it's two different people. Our protagonist in El Paso and our anti-heroes protagonist and me and my uncle. These are two different people. What connects them is these West Texas Cowboys. Now, the West Texas Cowboys are probably upset. They were in a shooting battle. They're the same Cowboys that shot down our protagonist from El Paso. Same ones that connected. So it's the universe. It's the narrative universe. It's West Texas Cowboys are shoot 'em up six-pack whiskey drinking Cowboys. And they got pissed that they were losing again. First, their friend was shot down in El Paso. They got revenge. But who knows what their lives are like? And now they're at a cantina again, or bar. And it's not in El Paso, but it's like, halfway between Colorado and El Paso. And they probably had other stories in between shooting the guy from El Paso and Felina's boy, and then getting shot themselves by me, the me character, and me and my uncle. Which brings me to Mexicali. Now imagine that guy goes down to Mexico after he shoots his uncle, after he grabs the gold. He's down in Mexico, California side, so he probably ventured around. And he writes this song. Lay back in an old saloon. This guy, right back in the saloon. Like, he's just bar hopping across the great Southwest. With a peso in my hand, watching flies and children on the street. Watching flies. I mean, this is what the life was like. Watching flies, like, how entertaining could flies be? And I catch a glimpse of a black-eyed girls who giggle when I smile. There's a little boy who wants to shine my feet. And it's 3 days ride from Bakersfield. I don't know why I came. I guess I came to keep from paying dues. So instead, I've got a bottle and a girl who's just 14. I mean, this guy murders his uncle and is now dating a 14-year-old down in Mexico. He's obviously got some shit up in Bakersfield too. Like, I think it's a couple of years that passed between the me and my uncle situation to now. And he's still as rotten as can be. He's still a Hell's Angel, basically, who's just 14. And damn good case of the Mexicali blues. Is there anything a man don't stand to lose when the devil wants to take it all away? Cherish well your thoughts and keep a tight grip on your booze, 'cause thinking and drinking is all I have today. That and the flies, of course. She said her name was Billie Jean and was fresh in town. I didn't know a stage line ran from hell. She had raven hair, ruffled dress, a necklace made of gold, all the French perfume you care to smell. She took me into her room and whispered in my ear, "Go on, my friend, do anything you choose." Now I'm paying for those happy hours I spent there in her arms, of a lifetime's worth of the Mexicali blues. Is there anything a man don't lose when the devil wants to take it all away? Cherish your thoughts and keep a tight grip on your booze, 'cause thinking and drinking plus the flies is all I have today. And then a man rode into town. Some thought he was the law. Billie Jean was waiting when he came. She told me he would take her if I didn't use my gun. And I have no one but myself to blame. I went to those dusty streets. Blood was on my mind. I guess that stranger haven't heard the news, 'cause I shot first and killed him. Lord, he didn't even draw. another connection of like he didn't even draw, just like in El Paso with that fella killing the first guy. And he made the trade the gallows for the Mexicali blues. Is there anything a man don't lose when he lets a woman hold him in her hands? He just might find himself out there on horseback in the dark, just riding and running across the desert sands. So 3 songs. A couple characters. You have the West Texas Cowboys. You have the protagonist from El Paso who lost his mind in love. Lost his mind in love. I mean, just like this song here. And even though the me, for me, my uncle, is now the same person in Mexicali Blues, he got love struck by this 14-year-old, which is insane. But the first person in El Paso got love struck and then killed a man and then ran away. And in this song, same thing happened. The man got love struck, killed another man, and then ran away. I want to deem this the Hell's Angels universe of the Grateful Dead. It's a universe of impulses. It's a universe of the id. It's characters who lost some sort of morality, but are connected through love. The love of a woman. At least, Mexicali and El Paso. These songs are meaner, more aggressive, more raw, and more interesting than any punk rock song that came out in the 70s. You think about the punk rock as these mean characters, but what are they saying? God Save the Queen, yes, I get it. The Clash spoke of politics, and that was interesting. Buzzcocks. They're all kind of more about fun and partying. Their songs are like a teenager having fun and rebelling, and which is great. And I love the Clash, and the Sex Pistols are a great, very influential band. But when you think of really hardcore lyrics that just are dirty, how could you beat these songs? Playing in the band and Stella Blue also live in the same universe. Playing the band is long because it's telling us the non-stop, thrilling roller coaster ride, the ups, the downs, the energy of a touring musician. And a 20-minute playing in the band has so many different parts because it tells you the fun part, which is the chorus, when, playing in the band, and it's just like this anthem, but it goes into this long jazzy journey in between. So the first 3 or 4 minutes and the last, maybe 2 or 3 minutes are relatively the same, but the journey is all the in-between stuff where you're really hearing the improv. I think the musician in playing in the band is the same musician in Stella Blue, but I think it's a couple years later. Stella Blue takes that musician who was in playing the band, but now he's beaten down by life. The high of the playing in the band has worn off, and now this person just has his old memories and a beat up guitar. Now this isn't what I think the band intended. I don't think they were consciously thinking about this, but I think they were sharing a story from the cosmos that they didn't realize they were telling. Ideas are out there. They're everywhere. You have access to any idea in the world, and so do I, and so does everyone. The ideas use us as vehicles of expression. Somebody once told me ideas live in dark matter. They form in dark matter and seep into our consciousness. So while, again, the guys aren't thinking this deeply about these songs and these narratives and connecting the Honky Tonk songs with playing in the band and Stella Blue, but that's okay, because it's getting us to think. Dark star crashes, pouring its light in the ashes. Reason tatters, the forces tear loose from the axes. Searchlight casting for thoughts in the clouds of delusion. Shall we go, you and I, while we can, through the transitive nightfall of diamonds? Mirror shatters formless reflections of matter. Glass hand dissolving in ice petal flowers revolving. Lady in velvet recedes in the nights of goodbye. Shall we go, you and I, while we can, through the transitive nightfall of diamonds? What I put together with this narrative of the Grateful Dead is not something that they said they were going to come out and give us. It's sort of like Pink Floyd didn't write Dark Side to match up with Wizard of Oz. But sometimes the dark star gives us things that we can take and we can either run with it and explore with our minds, or we could pass off as just easy rockers. But I don't think the Grateful Dead are easy rockers. I think their message speaks in the music unintentionally. And I think they knew that, and I think that's why they became addicted to the tour. Something just moved them. Something moved the audience, and they just kept going and doing it night after night. But I think that's what we should do when we go through this tour and we think about each set list and each song and how the songs came to them. When you're listening to this and listening to each show, listen to the music and enjoy the music, but think about the dark star of it all. We'll dive into the next couple shows on the next show, the February shows, which are great. Man, I'm excited for you guys to get to September. That's going to be really cool. And then they really hit their stride that whole fall. It's really awesome. We also have Watkins Glen coming up. Ooh, the Jersey shows where the guy from Me and My Uncle is from. Maybe that's why they love playing in Jersey so much. Those shows are great. All right. Till next week. This is 50 Years Dead.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Nighttime would find me in Rose's Cantina. Music would play and Felina would whirl. Black as the night were the eyes of Felina, wicked and evil while casting a spell. My love was strong for this Mexican maiden, who was in love but in vain I could tell. One night a wild young cowboy came in, wild as the West Texas wind. Passion and daring a drink he was sharing with wicked Felina, the girl that I loved. So in anger I challenged his right for the love of this maiden. Down went his hand for the gun that he wore. The challenge was answered in less than a heartbeat. The handsome young stranger lay dead on the floor. Just for a moment I stood there in silence, shocked by the foul evil deed I had done. Many thoughts raced through my mind as I stood there. I had but one chance, that was to run. Out through the back door of Rose's I ran, out where the horses were tied. I picked a good one, he looked like he could run. Up on his back and away I did ride, just as fast as I could from the West Texas town of El Paso, out through the backlands of New Mexico. Back in El Paso, my life would be worthless. Everything's gone in life, nothing is left. And it's been so long since I've seen the young lady. My love is stronger than my fear of death. I saddled up and away I did go, riding alone in the dark. Maybe tomorrow a bullet may find me, and I know nothing's worse than this pain in my heart. And at last here I am on the hill overlooking El Paso. I can see Rose's cantina below. My love is strong and it pushes me onward. Down off the hill to Felina I go. Off to my right I see 5 mounted cowboys. Off to my left ride a dozen or more. Shouting and shooting, can't let them catch me. I've got to make it to Rose's back door. Something is dreadfully wrong, for I feel a deep burning pain in my side. It's getting harder to stay in the saddle. I'm getting weary, unable to ride. But my love for Felina is strong, and I rise where I've fallen. Though I am weary, I can't stop to rest. I see the white puff of smoke from the rifle. I feel a bullet go deep in my chest. From out of nowhere, Felina has found me, kissing my cheek as she kneels by my side. Cradled by 2 loving arms that I'll die for. One little kiss ain't Felina good. Bye.